Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to an episode of Ask Engineer. So excited. We've got a full-packed hour of maker news, new products, giveaways, even a new segment that we'll tell you all about later if you stay tuned.
That's right.
Got an exciting show for you tonight. We're going to get right to it because we've got so much to cover. So, Mr. Aviator, why don't you tell them what's on tonight's show?
On tonight's show, the code is Wide Range.
Ooh.
Wide Range is the code. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything except for gift certificates, Code Academy, and Adabox.
Only the widest ranges.
It gets you 10% off, but you're also helping a cool open source, woman-owned company in New York City, the only electronic manufacturing woman-owned company that we know of in the U.S. because no one on Twitter told me I'm wrong. And that's what Twitter's good at. So, when you purchase something, you save 10% and you support all of us here. Well, some of us who are here on a Friday anyways. Show and Tell, people around the world showing and sharing their projects today. It'll talk about the projects and the people that were on the Show and Tell this week. A little bit of John Park's workshop and Make Code Minute. We'll have Python on hardware. We're going to do some time travel, 3D printing, some New York City manufacturing videos. We have a new segment called Eye on NPI.
Stay tuned.
We'll do some new products. We'll do some top secret. We'll answer your questions. We do that throughout the show and at the end of the show on adafruit.it/discord or discord.gg/Adafruit. Either one of those gets you to our Discord channel where you join all 16,000 of us in the Adafruit community.
Me, Adabot, we're all there.
All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Yay.
Okay, well, first up, as I had said, Wide Range, 10% off in the Adafruit store. But in addition to that, you get free stuff on checkout. Lady Ada, what do they get?
That's right. We have freebies. $99 or more, you get a free Perma-Proto half-size breadboard PCB. You can take your Solidus breadboard projects, transfer them over to make them a permanent prototype. $199 or more, you get free UPS ground shipping. That's free free UPS ground shipping in the continental United States. It's our preferred domestic shipping partner. It's got tracking, it's got insurance, it shows up when it says it's going to. It's not mysterious at all. It's a brown truck. It's exactly what you see. And at $299 or more, you get a free Circuit Playground Express, our all-in-one development board that's perfect for anybody of all skill levels to make and learn and create with electronics and code. You can use it with Arduino, Code.org CS Discoveries, Make Code, CircuitPython, MakerBlocks, MicroLisp, TeamyGo, what have you. It's got chock full of 10 NeoPixels, buttons, switches, sensors of all sorts for temperature and light, capacitive touchpads, battery and USB input. It's a really great, easy way for people to start learning with Make Code and moving all the way up to, if you want to use Embed or something, go for it.
Okay. From shipping, UPS USA is the way to go for ground.
It's tricky, continental, domestic, USA.
A little bit of a mystery, and DHL International.
Great for international.
Same day delivery in New York City. Just check out before 11 a.m. And if it's in the zip code we support and get it to you, we will get it to you same day. All right, Show and Tell, people around the world showing and sharing projects. Lady Ada, who was on the Show and Tell and what products did they share?
We had a bunch of people. Start off with Erin came by, showed off her Elsa pendant. We're going to show that video soon. It's a beautiful gift playing pendant that's based on a Circuit Playground, Bluefruit, and Gizmo. And depending on the temperature, it shows different animations. It's inspired by the movie Frozen. Brian came by with the Oshawa badge. If you're attending the Oshawa event coming up in a couple weeks, there'll be a giveaway watch for everybody there. And the code's being written, it's in CircuitPython, and it said hello world, so good start. Melissa showed off the latest version of her Bluetooth low energy web Bluetooth dashboard. So in Chrome you can connect to Bluetooth devices from within the browser, and so far we found it's the easiest and best way to do Bluetooth connectivity on desktop computers. So guide's coming soon, but she did a lovely little video, showed off all the capabilities such as changing NeoPixels, detecting button presses, all the different sensors, orientation display, and all that good stuff. Now and Pedro published the Piloton video and their additions to the Piloton guide this week. 3D printed case inspired by Bill Binko. They made it camera tripod mount compatible, which is a good idea. So now you can, it's a good update to the Clue case. So now you can attach a Clue to anywhere that you can put a camera. So good for accessibility projects too, I think. They're also working on, with Liz, a keytar with a whammy bar. So lots of like buttons and switches and sensors on this DIY guitar project. Kattni published a guide, which we'll chat about later. It's the Clue badge guide. So she's updated the Pi Badger library that she wrote for making badges for events, ported it to Clue, and then also give it a big scrubbing and update. It's better than ever. You can have lots of text, color blocks, images in the background. It's perfect for making badges at an event like, say, Oshawa. If you have this watch, you can really quickly get started making badges, even if you are giving them to people who've never coded before. That's what CircuitPython's so good for. And last but not least, Dan came by and promoted CircuitPython 5.0.0 is out. So if you have been using 4.x for CircuitPython and you're like, I want faster sensors, faster displays, everything better, Bluetooth completely redone and improved in lots of demos, check out 5.0. It is now stable. And if there's any bugs, please let us know. This is when we usually get the most bug reports because people are starting to use it. We will get those reports in and release a 5.01 if necessary. And then from the community, Chris Young came by. You got a visit from Bill Binko with the Freedom Wing, which is a wing that can let you easily connect to motorized wheelchair joysticks and then reuse that joystick to control other things, because people who are in wheelchairs usually are really good at controlling the joystick because they do it all day, for like 16 hours a day. So Chris Young controlled an iPhone drone. I guess it's a drone that usually would be controlled from iPhone.
Yeah.
They plugged in the Freedom Wing and he was able to like go up and down and move around, and it was like really stable. He had some video from the drone.
Yeah, Chris posted the video also in Discord. You can watch a longer one.
Yeah.
And then on Show and Tell, you can see the video he did, and he has like an overlay of all the different things in Indianapolis.
It's so neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm in a wheelchair, I'm controlling it, and the drone is just like flying around, and then he also has the headset.
Yeah.
So that sounds like fun.
It's brilliant because this idea of the feather wing is whatever you're using for your power wheelchair should be able to control anything that also is controlled with a joystick. Like, why would you have two separate things? Of course.
Yeah.
But the only thing that stopped that was manufacturers and proprietary software and hardware never allowed that. But now a new world is unlocked.
A whole new world.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
Then Liz came by. She talked about she's working on that guitar, and she's also making a step counter for Clue. One of the neat things that her guide will cover is the sensor that does motion in the Clue also has a built-in pedometer, and it works really well. I was working on the code over the weekend, and we went for a walk, and it every time I took a step, it went incremented. It's really a solid pedometer. And what's great is it happens completely in chip, so you can do displays and animations without having to worry about missing a step. And then Dannon came by. He's doing more battery hacking. He loves batteries. I love batteries too. They're so cool. Taking apart old not wheelchair. It's there's a lawnmower battery pack that he's been taking apart and recycling and reusing to making portable USB chargers.
Okay.
That's our show and tell.
All participants on Show and Tell get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. Email support@adafruit.com. If you're a kid, please have a Guardian-like entity email for you. Part of our Adafruit live series of shows, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, John Park's workshop is happening, and you'll see a lot of new things that we're doing with Clue, and of course every single week.
And Feather Sense.
Feather Sense. And we also have a Make Code Minute that we do every single week. Here is the latest one. Take it away, JP.
So for the Make Code Minute today, what I wanted to do was show you how you can create an array of pixel art images on the microbit inside of MakeCode, and then use one of the buttons on the microbit to toggle between them. So what you'll see here is I have a nice little microbit, and I'm using that cool little frosted case on it so that it diffuses the LEDs a bit. And what's going to happen is every time I press the B button, I'm going to move between a series of cute little pixel art images that I have programmed and loaded into here. And if you take a look at my MakeCode session, I'll zoom in here a bit so you can see this closer. It's a pretty simple sketch. What happens is on start, first thing I do is I'm showing an icon, and this is from the basic dropdown. There's a little list of pre-made icons. And then I'm creating an array. And in this array, I have added 6 of these icon image blocks. And again, from those you can pick pre-made stuff. I'm not doing any art from scratch on these. And then I'm setting a variable that I've created called current image to 0. And then all that happens for the rest of the time is that it's sitting there waiting for button presses. And when I press this B button, it does these 3 things. It changes my variable by 1, so it adds 1 to the variable. Then it sets the current image variable to be the remainder of itself divided by the length of this array. So that essentially is like a modulo function that gets me to loop between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I show the image that is whatever number we're at from this array here. Then we proceed, it shows the image, and the next time we press it, we iterate through the next one. So you'll see here, if we start out with the square, move that out of the way, next we'll get the diamond, the giraffe, the Pac-Man ghost, heart, triangle, and back through. And so that is how you can create an array of pixel art images to cycle through on the microbit using MakeCode. And that's your MakeCode Minute.
Okay, and that's JP's workshop tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay.
It is now time for some Python on hardware.
Blinka, 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 big news.
We have CircuitPython 5, which is out, and it also means we are now up to 116 boards. Here's a preview of some of them. CircuitPython 5, what are some highlights?
I'm glad you asked. Well, first off, yes, we added a ton more new boards. We really strengthened our NRF52 support. Bluetooth was almost completely reworked. It's now better than ever. We added IMX support for the IMX RT10 series.
Okay, so all the NXP chips are starting to go in.
They're starting to come in slowly but surely. They do work. People have a TNC4, please try it out. You can install CircuitPython on it. So that's new in 5.0. We also added some more. We added STM32 support, so STM32F4 series chips, which are very popular with makers, very popular in industry as well. So if you have boards that use those chips, you can add those. And we also sped up a lot of stuff. We improved display I/O quite a bit, I think. Some memory management, some back-end, speed ups and behind the scenes with how we manage interrupts. So you should see better performance. It's a really solid release and a lot of improvements. So I definitely recommend people update to 5.
Okay. New boards, the Nano 33 that's from Arduino is supported by CircuitPython now. The Circuit Brains Basic and Deluxe, the Feather M7, you already mentioned those, and the SparkFun CMD51 Think Plus.
Yeah, we tested a bunch of new boards and more coming in like every single week.
Okay. We also have our new project. This is Piloton. It's an open source bike computer. Easiest, best way for you to learn all about Bluetooth and do things like heart rate and miles per hour and
cadence, and
music.
it can also get music. So it's a demo of like if you have 4 Bluetooth devices, you can connect to all of them at once. It's a very powerful Bluetooth demo.
Okay. Here's a couple other shots. Open Hardware Summit is coming up. The badges are completed. We saw some photos online. We'll do an update on our blog, but here is one from Drew. This is it working with all sorts of things. So you've got humidity, pressure, altitude, temperature, all sorts of different sensor information that you get in. It's also wearable, and of course it runs.
And all these drivers were ready to go. It's so easy.
Yeah. Okay. The new board that we wanted to get out is out. It's sold out instantly. It's probably going to be a top seller. It is the Feather NRF52840 Bluefruit Sense. So you can check that out. Sign up. We'll have more in stock very, very soon.
Yes, they went fast, but they are going to be very popular, I think. So we'll be making tons soon.
Okay. Python slizzers over to Android. There is a Python for Android application that you can try out. This is from the folks over at PyBeware, and also I think the Python Foundation helped fund this. So if you wanted
cool.
to do Python on Android, you could check it out there. The article that we mentioned last week in Hackspace is now online. It's by Drew. It's called Python on Hardware. The future is Serpentine. And it is, I think, going to be one of the articles that people refer back to and say, oh, I remember when I heard about Python on Hardware. I read it in Hackspace or whatever, and now everything has Python on it. So check that out. It's online. We link to it. The PDF is available of the whole issue, but then sometimes they also post up articles. Okay, this is kind of neat. This is from Matt. Matt posted this up. The Tinker Squad decided to teach kids Python, and you can see they were using Moo, they were using Circuit Playground, and they were using Circuit Playground Express. So this is sound and Python all working together, and if these kids can do Python on hardware, you can too.
Well, what I like is you can see everybody has different color LEDs on their Circuit Playground, which means each person was able to customize the code. They're not just following the instructions and like pasting in the default, they're then changing it to customize it. So like the girl has the pink matches her sweater.
Yeah. Next up, Thea posted up. Thea's doing a new potential project. It's called, it's called the big honkin' button.
Yeah.
And will it run CircuitPython? Yes, for easy hacking. So if you want this, check out the Twitter link and let Thea know that this is a project you would like to see. It's a module, it's a synth. You press the button and it makes a sound. Geek Mom is working on getting Clue to work with the Bright Wearables line of wearables. So you can see it here. It's sound reactive. The screen works, plugs in. Since it's a microbit compatible, as far as the connector, you can do things like
testing,
voice activation,
1, 2,
play things
3,
on the screen,
testing,
and more.
testing.
Speaking of compatibility, we got the little Plenbot from Japan working with the Clue. So it was made for microbit, but since the Clue is in microbit format, we can use CircuitPython to control this cute little humanoid robot. We'll show a longer video later on in the show. Some Bluetooth-controlled psychic paper. This shows, if you're a Doctor Who fan, you know all about this. This is the Doctor, and then the text shows up as a different Doctor, and
Yes,
it's all over.
they're regenerating.
Bluetooth. Yep.
It's important if you have multiple different physical instantiations, you have to have a flexible ID card.
Yep.
Or you don't get stuck.
Here is Circuit Playground, Cricket, and CircuitPython all working together for this very cool Bluefruit Cricket robot.
Easy, effective,
That's
Cricket.
right. Quick note, PyCon just posted up. We are still on for PyCon. It's in April. Unknown for everyone how COVID is going to affect more events, but since it's out in April, they've been working with the folks in Pittsburgh. So far, so good. Do check out the PyCon blog. Look at their posts. I have to hand it to PyCon. They're excellent about giving information to all the attendees, the sponsors, and everyone. If all events did that, I think there'd be some less uncertainty and chaos. So good work, PyCon. Thanks for keeping everyone updated. Todd went to an event, and this is a massive Neo trellis using CircuitPython and controlling this tower of NeoPixels. This one I have to post up a little bit more. Someone made their own CircuitPython VS Code extension.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and so it's in. You can just download and use it right away. I'll link to it. There's an update, but you can check this out. We link to it in the newsletter and on our site. This is a cool little board. It's called the Commander. It's a 16 megabyte flash SD accelerometer, 4-button, 9 LED little device that runs CircuitPython. It plays keystrokes off the SD card.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. It's like it's there's HID built into CircuitPython, so it's very easy to read files off of an SD card and then immediately type them out. It's actually like a 50-line code project. So I think this could be for like automating certain events, like you want to plug it in and then say like, okay, I want to install software or set up a Chromebook or something. People use things like this to do that, automatic scripting tools.
Okay, Quick Feather. This is the QuickLogic EOS S3 Open Hardware Eval Board. This is from the QuickLogic Corp. It's an FPGA that was spotted at Embedded World by Drew. It had a Cortex M4 microcontroller, runs Zephyr in Feather format. Check this out. It'll be coming out soon. And
Looks cute.
also check out Awesome-Feather on GitHub. You can just search for that. There's also a horse named Awesome Feather. No relation to our Awesome Feather list, but it is kind of cool.
It should be
that there's a
called
horse.
Quick Feather.
Yeah.
That's the quickest horse.
Okay, this is neat. This is a ritual mask of Predator. So they use, this is what it is. So they made this on their own, and it uses the monster mask or the hollowing eye inside of there, so you can see this.
Okay, great.
Okay, next up,
Creepy.
there was a really good article about Python as a programming language. Cool thing is, it's now number 2. Python wasn't singled out in these rankings from RedMonk that often because it just keeps growing and it's steady. And this time, it's a little different. For this quarter, it spent 4 years in 4th place, and then it jumped up to 3rd place 3 years ago until this month. For the first time in history of these rankings, which began in 2012, there is a non-Java or JavaScript entry in the number 2 slot. That is Python.
So it was JavaScript, then Java,
Yeah.
then Python, then like looks like C++, C,
Yep.
CSS.
Yep.
Okay, see Rust catching up there.
Okay.
Go Rust.
And last up, if you want to celebrate Women's History Month and Women's History Day, there is a really cool workshop that the Beirut Digital District is doing, and it's part of the Beirut Hackspace. And you can, if you happen to be in the area, you're there, but you can also probably catch it online. We link to that and more. And that is Python on Hardware this week.
Yay. All right,
Okay, let's move over to time travel.
time travel time.
Yeah. All right. So this is news and more that's going on. First up, on Tuesday of next week, we are doing a session with Microchip. This is machine learning and also IoT. So it's March 10th, Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. So that also means it'll be later in the day for people on the East Coast. So 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be showing off demos and more. Next up, we had a little bit of information about this last week, but I got more. So Morgan Stanley has a makerspace thing they do.
Yeah.
And we thought, hey, this is pretty cool. We saw it on Twitter.
That's cool.
And we're like, that's neat. But what we didn't realize is there was a person in our forums that not only did they work on this, but their kid had worked on this. But their kid, it's been going, like, we've been around for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah, well,
So,
yeah.
you know, kid that was 10 is now like 25. So they posted a really
Working
long...
at Morgan Stanley.
Yeah, they posted up their really long personal story about how they used Adafruit stuff, how they wanted to give back, and this is one of the things they do. This is for the Women in Need program.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nonprofit in New York City. Homeless women, kids, they do learn to code workshops. They do a lot of things for the community. But here's what the VP from Morgan Stanley said. Tremendously thankful to the work with the curious and creative young people from our Women in Need alongside Morgan Stanley technology colleagues and our employee designed and led Morgan Stanley Makerspace program. So you can check this out on their LinkedIn site. You can check it out on our blog. The technology team there, they taught the coding fundamentals using Adafruit, Circuit Playground Express, using CircuitPython. Participants created light sensors, accelerometers as part of the Morgan Stanley Makerspace program, and they are a supporter of New York City's largest provider of shelter and supportive housing for homeless families. So not only is it good to do all this, but it's a good cause, and it is one of our missions to get these in the hands of as many people. So thank you very much, Morgan Stanley. I hope people pick up some skills and share.
And have fun. Make
Okay.
rainbows.
Maker Update is out right now. You can check it on our YouTube channel. We've been doing this every month. There is a new podcast, new season from Red Hat called Command Line Heroes, and this month is all about hardware,
Oh,
open source hardware specifically.
it says that.
And the cool thing
I know
about
that.
this is there is a Adafruit one coming up, and you can hear all about open source hardware and more. They have it on every single podcast network that you can imagine. It's hosted by Saran, and she interviewed you.
Yes.
We'll talk
Well,
about
it was a year
open
ago,
source-
but I
talk
vaguely
about open source
remember.
hardware
Yeah.
and more very soon. So if you like the podcast, you'll like this. All right. Every week we talk about Discord and membership and the people that we have on there. And Discord came up with this thing called server discovery, and they had all this criteria, and we hit it. And then they changed the criteria And we hit that. And then they changed the criteria again, and then we hit that.
There's so many goalposts.
And so the goalpost was moved with this stuff, and I emailed and I said, hey, like, we keep hitting the threshold for server discovery, which means you can go into the server discovery section. If you're in Discord, scroll down to the bottom left-hand side.
And we're there.
There's a magnifying glass. You type Adafruit or electronics or Raspberry Pi or Python or Arduino, and we'll show up. So what happened was it kept changing, and this time, though, they say, congratulations,
Finally.
you're in. So we had to have a safe environment. Yep, that means we had community guidelines. We have a code of conduct. We enforce it. We have moderators. We have more than 250 members. Yes, we have 16,000. Meets age requirement. So the server needed to be at least 8 weeks old.
Yeah.
Healthy community. The metrics look great. The members are active and they're back on the server a bunch of times. No bad words. Right?
Yeah.
And then 2-factor authentication for all the moderators
Good idea.
and admins. We did it. So now when you go there and you type Adafruit, we show up and we're in there with like Fortnite and official Fortnite and other types of Fortnite. Minecraft. And so we're in there with the big gaming servers, but this is also, a place where people can learn skills. They can show their projects. They can talk about electronics. This is where we do all of our CircuitPython development. And so we're there. Check it out. And
We did it.
we did it. Yay.
Yay.
So we're there now.
Okay.
We have a whole series on our site right now about cyberpunk. And Gareth is one of my favorite authors. We have him
And
working on
he's
this.
good at cyberpunk.
So this is just some of the stories. What is cyberpunk? How we ended up living in cyberspace. William Gibson's new writer, Insecurities, might reveal a key component of great art. The essential cyberpunk reading list. So Transmetropolitan is probably one of my favorite series ever. It's about journalism. It's
In New York.
It's also cyberpunk. It also has a crazy president that's doing all sorts of things. So it's nothing like our current life. So it's a very good escape to read. And we have probably 15 more posts altogether.
Cool.
So
I can't wait.
yeah, so check it out. And if you like cyberpunk, or if you never heard about it, or if you read Transmetropolitan, I read it every year. Once a year, I just read it
Oh,
cover
it's
to
fun.
cover. Open source hardware.
Cool.
All right, Open Source Hardware Summit is coming up very soon.
And we're an open source hardware company.
We're an open source
And
hardware
we make
company.
open source hardware.
We do. And
So-
before we get to the guides, though, in the world of open source hardware, something new happened. That's right. So there is a few different things that are like connectors that are called different things that are Stemma, Quick, Stemma QT, Grove, and also Gravity. So Gravity's from DF Robot, Grove is from Seed, Stemma QT, that's from Adafruit, and Quick is from SparkFun. But we saw this, and so I had to write about it. Say hello to Easy C.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting. I saw
Easy
this
C is
on
now another
TV.
one.
Easy C.
Yeah,
Not related to Easy E.
no.
JP asked.
So now, what's cool is all of these are pretty much compatible in some way. Stemma and Stemma QT are the most compatible, but the connectors that you have to connect all this stuff, it seems like we're all moving towards this particular connector.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to do Stemma and Stemma QT?
Well, I originally wanted to do JST connectors because JST connectors were common and they weren't too big. And we actually designed a couple boards with the JST connector. But then, as I was using it, it was quite a large connector, and SparkFun started doing the quick boards with I2C only, which I really liked, and like a very small connector. And we got we got a board or two, and we got the cable, and we tried it, and we're like, oh yeah, that's a really nice fit. So I just basically took the same Stemma standard 3 to 5 volt power, 3 to 5 volt I2C, and just used the smaller connector, and it's cross compatible. And EasyC is too. EasyC is basically the same as Quick. I'm not exactly sure why they came up with a new name.
Okay. So that is Easy C. Welcome, Easy C, to
the
this
family.
community of connectors. We added this to our guide.
I did. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, next up. We have 2,143 guides. Lady Ada, what was on the big board this week?
I read a couple of new guides this week. First off, we have an update to that Piloton guide. It was live before, but it's updated. We'll show the video, I think, from Noah and Pedro later in 3D section. We have 2 breakout guides. The LIS 2 MDL triple axis magnetometer. This is a nice plus or minus 50 microtesla magnetometer. It's very commonly used with an IMU chip to create a 9DOF sensor. So we have a breakout now for the list 2MDL, which is very similar to the list 3MDL, but the 2MDL does not. It's a little bit older. It has a couple things that it doesn't do. The ICM 2649 is, we're going to talk about that new product a little bit later. It's a very nice wide range IMU sensor from TDK, InvenSense. And what's nice about this is that most sensors, accelerometers and gyros don't go past 16G, or they don't go past 2000 DPS. But this chip is not too expensive, and it goes to 30 plus or minus 30G, so it's about twice as much as most IMU chips. And the gyro as well goes up to 4000 DPS. So it's designed for sports and action situations where it's like you want to measure much stronger forces than you would with a normal IMU. So check that out. It's a nice little IMU. And then, of course, it will pair very nicely with magnetometer. Aaron made a Frozen-inspired animated pendant that shows different animated GIFs depending on the temperature, the ambient temperature of the necklace. So you can put it up to a fire and it will have a flame, or you can put it in the refrigerator or outside if it's cold, and it will display a snowflake. So it's inspired by Frozen and the three, the warm, cold, and breezy spirits, and then we will show the video as well. Kattni made a guide just on how to take your clue board and turn it into a custom CircuitPython badge, because we're going to be giving out a bunch of these for PyCon, and people are going to be like, I'm at PyCon, I have this clue badge, but what do I do with it, and how do I make it display my name, my pronouns, my Twitter handle, display QR code? This guide will help you out. From David Stells, we have a basic update to his guide from before. He did a guide with the Neo Trellis on rolling dice. This one, you can select different, 2d6 or, 5d12, whatever, and then when you shake it, it'll roll the dice and display the number for you. So a very easy D&D dice rolling helper. And the final guide, can you go back? 'Cause I don't remember that.
Sure.
There's one more guide. Oh, Carter also did a guide with Clue. If you have two of them, you can use the two buttons on the front to send Morse code messages, the dit and da, and then press both buttons together to send a character, and it will, you can take two clues and pair them together and then communicate 50 feet away using Bluetooth Low Energy by transmitting characters back and forth. We have a little video in the guide as well that you can check out.
We'll be showing it a little bit later in the show.
Okay. We'll show the video later where Phil and I send each other messages basically over the Clue. And the best thing about it is there's a Morse code cheat sheet on the display, because I haven't memorized my Morse code. This is a great way to practice your Morse code if you are learning it.
And then we have a video from Aaron. Take it away, Aaron.
Discover your inner snow queen with this temperature sensing pendant. Invoke the elements of air, fire, and ice using the elements around you or your Ice Queen superpowers. The pendant will display a leaf, a purple flame, or a snowflake animation, depending on the warmth of the air. You'll need a Gizmo TFT, a Circuit Playground Bluefruit, and a battery. Remove the Kaplan tape from the gizmo and place the battery on top. Line up the Circuit Playground's USB port with 12 o'clock and start adding screws. Get all the screws started before you tighten them down. Plug in the battery to be sure power is flowing. Connect the Circuit Playground to your computer and double-click the Reset button. Load current.uf2 onto the cplay BT boot drive, and then add the 3 GIF images to the root of the CircuitPy drive. Check to be sure it's working. A cold temperature reading shows a snowflake. A neutral temperature shows a spinning leaf, and when it's warm, you'll see a lovely purple flame. Snip off the supports at 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock from the case bottom, as they'll be in our way for this project. Place the electronics into the case and snap fit the pieces together. Add a necklace cord, and you're ready to wear your magic necklace. See the full build tutorial on the Adafruit Learning System. And
Okay,
Thanks,
and
Aaron.
now it's time for some New York City factory footage. Take it away, Adafruit Factory. And it wouldn't be New York City factory footage without a view outside our window.
Oh, the construction's really happening.
This is outside the Adafruit headquarters. This is what the picking places see all day long.
Okay, taking apart one building in the back there.
Yep. All right, next up, some 3D printing with Don Pedro. We're going to do these videos back to back. The first one's going to be the Piloton, and the next one is going to be a favorite from Harry Potter. Take it away, Don Pedro.
Extruded away.
Hey, what's up folks? In this project, we're building a bike cycling BLE device using Adafruit's Clue dev board. Piloton is Adafruit's CircuitPython project for BLE sensors that can measure your heart rate and your speed and cadence. This is great for displaying your sensor data with custom fonts and graphics on a really nice display. It features Apple's music service, so you can use the touchpads to play, pause, and control the next and previous track. You can also use the buttons to change the volume. You can track your performance while you ride and have the ability to control your music. The 3D printed case and mount securely attaches to the handlebars with hardware. The case features a 1/4-20 screw for using with a tripod mount, so you can attach the Clue in all sorts of ways. The code for this project was written in CircuitPython by Dylan Harada. Go to the Learn Guide to get the Clue board set up with the latest version of CircuitPython. You can select from the multi-language menu and download the latest release. To install new firmware, double-press the Reset tab to get the board into the bootloader mode. Then drag and drop the file to automatically install the new firmware. It works like a USB drive, so the code and libraries are stored on the device. The heart rate and cadence sensors are set up in the code, so it's easy to change it for your setup. The code checks for nearby BLE sensors and handles the logic for displaying the updates. It's a great example of displaying sensors together using BLE libraries for CircuitPython. Get the parts to build this project, links are in the description. We're using the cadence sensor from Wahoo. This will be mounted to the bike's foot pedal and spokes on the rear tire. 3D printed parts and hardware are used to make the clamp for the clue board. The case snap fits together and has a bezel to protect the display. To make this portable, you can wire up a slide switch JST adapter and connect it to a battery. Connect the battery to the switch and fit it on the back of the clue board. Secure the screen bezel by adhering it to the case using superglue. The clue board easily fits inside the case by press fitting it through the screen and the button cutouts. Fit the switch into the holder by inserting it at an angle. You'll want to tap the thread for the tripod screw using a 3/8 tapping tool. To ensure the tolerances have a nice fitting, create the thread by fastening the tapping tool. Use a tool with a flat tip to fasten and install the screw into the frame. We'll tap the bracket in the same way with another 3/8 to a 1/4-20 screw. Install the back cover by snap fitting it into place. Use the built-in tab to reset the board whenever you need to install new firmware. You can pair the phone to the clue board using the BLE Connect app for iOS or Android. It will automatically connect to the heart rate and cadence sensor when the devices are awake and within range. Install the clamp to the handlebars using the captive nut and a M5 screw. This mini tripod swivel ball head is nice for adjusting the board so you get a good viewing angle. The Wahoo sensor is strapped to the bike frame near the rear tire. The magnet is secured to one of the spokes so it's lined up with the sensor. For better proximity, we needed to use extra magnets so it would reach the sensor. The magnet for the foot pedal is secured to the bar using a large rubber band that's securely wrapped. Lastly, we need to make sure to adjust the magnets so they're properly lined up with the sensor. We think this is a nice way to make a portable cycling project with Adafruit's Clue dev board. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more projects from Adafruit.
Check out 3D Hangouts every single Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where you can learn how to make all the stuff with Noah and Pedro. Okay, well, I'm pretty excited because we have a new segment called Eye on NPI.
My eye on the NPI.
That's right. And NPI stands for New Product Introduction. Here it is.
Okay.
Adafruit's New Product Introduction. And I'll just tell you quickly how this works. We're going to pick a new product out there, probably not from Adafruit, but we're going to tell you about it. It's probably going to be a component, and it's probably going to be something really cool. So to kick it off,
NPI. Okay.
This one's from Espressive.
Espressive, a little happy guy.
All right, so first off, what's Espressive? What are they known for?
Okay, Espressive is a company in Asia, and they make microcontrollers that have built-in wireless technologies in them. So they're best known for making the ESP8266 and ESP32 Tensilica plus Wi-Fi plus Bluetooth chipsets that people have been using lately with Arduino and CircuitPython and MicroPython and Lua and whatnot
Yeah.
to make cool IoT projects.
Lots of these are in like the smart light bulbs, all sorts of things
Yes,
like
they're
that.
very popular. I mean, I didn't even say they sell like hundreds of millions of these chips.
Okay.
They're inexpensive, but they're very reliable, and so they're used in a lot of industry products because you get the microcontroller plus Wi-Fi all in one.
All right, so this is all about MPI. So everyone is talking about this upcoming next product in that line called the
ESP32S2, and as you can see, this is some chips that just came out the line. So we had some beta chips, but they're actually getting released into mass manufacture, which is what makes this an NPI, not a coming soon.
Yeah, so this MPI, the ESP32S2, is known for a couple things.
One, security. So there are a couple security issues with previous versions of the ESP32. Some people really attacked the ESP32. Found some ways that you can maybe extract some keys with some glitching attacks, and that has been patched up in the ESP32S2. So they did a big focus on security and really hardened all the attack surfaces. We have an IoT video on attack surface mitigation.
Yep.
Check that out if you want to know how to do that. But so this chip should be good for industry where you want to make sure that there's secret keys, secret firmware, so SSID or whatever, private keys, that they don't get leaked out from the chip.
What else about this chip is interesting to you, Lady Ada engineer, who, so what y'all don't know is every single night Lady Ada just reads NPI data sheets for chips around the world, constantly, always, forever. So this, though, we got a hold of some of the things about it.
Okay.
What things do you like about this?
So the ESP32S2, one of the things that I personally like is that USB on the go. So it's all the way on that side under the pulse counter.
Okay.
So the USB on the go is very exciting because as a native USB, this was one of the few things that made it a little bit difficult to update the firmware or do some kind of interactions with it because it couldn't show up as a mass storage device or a MIDI device or whatever. Now it has native USB, so it really makes interactivity with hardware a lot easier. And again, it's built in. So like great for price, great for bill of materials cost reduction, and of course space reduction. Second, there is, again, that built-in Wi-Fi. There's now a sort of a time of flight thing where you can do, if you have, I guess, two of these, you can tell the distance between the two of them using time of flight. More details are coming out. It still has a ton of great peripherals, the SPI, I2S, I2C, touch, DAC, ADC. So it's very ESP32-like. One thing that did get removed is it doesn't have Bluetooth or Bluetooth Low Energy. I know some people like that in the ESP32. The ESP32S2, at least to start, does not come with Bluetooth. It's just Wi-Fi and that Tensilica LX7 microcontroller. I think it's got like a couple 100K of RAM. And I think there's also a RISC-V coprocessor in there. Again, more details are going to come out soon.
Okay, and because it has USB in it, we've already got it started on some work, but there's a couple things that we can say for sure we're going to do with this.
Yes, TinyUSB supports it, and in fact, Espressif is really excited to help us support the ESP32 with the TinyUSB. TinyUSB is a completely open, MIT licensed USB software stack with host and device, and it's not tied to any vendor. So you can use the stack with any chipset, which is really important. A lot of stacks are tied to a vendor. You can't use it unless you're using ST parts or microchip parts, and that's great if you're using those parts. But Espressif, when they started working on the ESP32, we said, hey, let's add support to this TinyUSB. You get all these USB peripherals basically for free once you do the low-level stuff. They were able to do it. I think there's a pull request coming in. They're doing some testing. So people who want to use the USB with IDF know that TinyUSB has support, and that means you get mass storage, CDC, MIDI, RNDNS, I think somebody just put in. So a lot of USB support is going to come right out of the box.
Okay, so if you go to digikey.com, you can search for ESP32. However, if you want to see this specific component that we were talking about, including pricing, here's how to get it.
And it's about $1, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So the raw chip, again, we Adafruit, we don't really sell chips. We tend to sell modules or breakout boards or feathers. So if you want to pick up these, sign up. You can pre-order them from DigiKey, and they'll get them to you in the moment that they show up in a couple weeks or so. Unless something goes amiss, hopefully not. If they're able to get that stock, they'll send you out some cut tape. I have some on order. I'm very excited. There's also modules and dev boards of a wide variety in different packaging. Check out the product ordering information to know whether you want the dev kit, the module with PSRAM, or just the raw chip.
Okay,
as
now
shown here.
that DigiKey product ID,
Yeah.
what do those numbers and letters mean?
Well, I don't work for DigiKey, but this is what I'm guessing. I think the first number is the supplier code.
Okay.
So each supplier has like a number, and I think ESP Espressif is the 1965th, not 1965, which is a great year.
Yeah.
But just that's
Okay.
the number.
Then the other one
Then
was
the part
obvious.
number,
Yeah. And then what's the
ESP32S2.
other things?
CT means cut tape.
Okay.
So that means I like to order when I get prototypes. I get them in cut tape, but you can also get them in DigiReels, or of course, you want to splurge, get a full reel of 2,000 components. That would be a TR
Okay.
for tape and reel. And then ND, I think, just stands for like new DigiKey. I think it's the new DigiKey
Okay.
code.
All right. So that is I on NPI.
We took you there. We brought you back.
Okay.
Hope you learned something.
All right. So before we go over to new products, let's do the code. The code's wide range, 10% off in the Adafruit store, all the way up till 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Let's do this, Lady Ada.
Okay.
Okay, first up, weekly reminder. We have another few weeks before we're going to be shipping Adabox, so now is the time to go to adabox.com and sign up.
Okay, kicking off, we've got Serpentes. The snakes are on this plane, and I love them. We've got two Serpentes from Arturo. We've got the USB-C style here, and then we also have a USB plug type. Otherwise, they're pretty much the same hardware, but this one's kind of neat, plugs right into a USB-C port. These feature a SAMD21 chip. They have a little bit of SPI flash, I think like 4 megabytes of SPI flash. There's an RGB LET, there's a reset button, and they're castellated so you can slot them directly onto a circuit board. So it's kind of like a Feather M0, but made really, really small. And I think these are really cute. I especially like the plug one, because again, you can plug that right into your USB-C port.
Okay, next up.
Next up, we have the List 2 MDL. This is very similar sounding to the List 3 MDL, which we already stocked, but it's a little bit different. It is a magnetometer. It's from ST. They make lovely magnetometers. This one is a slightly, I think it's an older chip, and it doesn't have different ranges. It has one range of plus or minus 50 microtesla, which, or maybe it's 50, plus or minus 50 Gauss, sorry. That's 55,000 microtesla. And it's got quick connectors on the sides. It's a very easy triple axis magnetometer. People love to use these with IMUs, but also you can use them for detecting magnetic fields. And I'll show a demo in a bit.
Okay, next up.
Next up, it's a revision. This is the VL6180, which we've stocked for quite a bit. It's a nice little distance sensor. Works really well. It uses a time of flight sensor. It actually uses a little like a laser cavity, which is super neat. It's the little sister to the VL53L0X. And I've got a little demo. I'll show it off on the overhead. So here you can actually even see the little laser blinking, and this is the detector. And then what's nice about this is it has a very low range, so it can be like super close. And it's like, hey, you're only like less than a centimeter away, or higher or lower. And then it has a range of, I don't know, what does it say in the back? 5 to 100 millimeters. So the VL53L0X, which is the bigger sister to this, has a longer range, but it doesn't have as good of a short range. So if you need short range sensing, this sensor is actually quite good. If you need longer range, check out the VL53L0X.
Okay. And the star of the show tonight, besides you, Lady Ada, and our community is?
The ICM 2649. This is a Brian-made breakout, Brian brand TM. This has a TDK InvenSense 6-axis IMU. It's an accelerometer and a gyroscope, 3 axes each. And what's really nice about this sensor is it has a very wide range. That's why the code's wide range. Instead of most accelerometers and gyros that go up to only plus or minus 16 Gs and plus or minus 2,000 degrees per second, this goes about twice as far, plus or minus 30 Gs and plus or minus 4,000 degrees per second. So this is designed for situations where you have like high impact, like sports is kind of what they're designing it for, or action, or some robotics, where things are going to be moving a little bit faster and maybe hitting a little bit harder. You'll want a sensor that can handle that wider range. So it's a very high quality sensor. TDK makes like really, really good sensors. And the 6-axis one, of course, pairs really great with the List 2 MDL. And so I'll show it on the overhead. So actually what I did here is I've got a feather with an OLED display, and then I've connected, I thought it would be neat to show off that that you can just chain these together. So I have a quick cable going from one to the other all over I²C, and so you can see I'm reading the accelerometer, gyroscope, and magnetometer as I twist this around. The first two sets of numbers move, and then this is for the magnetometer, so you can see the bottom set of numbers move. And then, of course, you can bolt these together if you like to make a little 9DOF kit that moves together if you so wish, and then use that with our AHRS Fusion tutorial that we wrote to get yaw and pitch and rotation out of the 9DOF sensor. But a great sensor, especially I think for sports and robotics, what the sensor would be best for.
Okay. Some products.
That's the products.
Okay, let's do
Recap.
the recap.
New recap. Okay, we got two Solidity Serpentes that made their way here. These SAMD21 boards run CircuitPython. They come with a chunk of SPI flash on them, an RGB LED. They're inspired by the DigiSpark, and they got castellated pads, one with USB-C plug and one with USB-C socket. The List 2 MDL is a very handy triple axis magnetometer, a great pairing for any IMU that's an accelerometer gyroscope, such as the one we'll be showing shortly, and over I²C or SPI, you can read 3 axis of magnetometer data. We've updated the VL6180 to now have stomach UT connectors. It's the same chip, same breakout, same price, but now has 4 mounting holes and these quick connects from SparkFun. You can easily connect it up to your microcontroller board with no soldering required. And finally, the star of the show is the ICM 2649, a wide range, plus or minus 30G, plus or minus 4,000 DPS IMU from TDK InvenSense, a great match for that magnetometer. This is great for sports and robotics where you need a wide range IMU. And that's your new products.
Okay, don't forget the code is wide range. Let's do some top secret.
I'd love to.
Okay.
What is it?
So we have a few.
Okay.
I'm going to play some of the videos, what are self-explanatory, and then we'll do stuff on the other side.
Okay, cool.
Okay, lady, what is this?
Hey, I'm testing out the Feather Bluefruit Sense. Hold on, I'll get it text right up. Which we just released in the store, featuring nRF22840, humidity, temperature, barometric pressure, 9DOF microphone, button, NeoPixel, all these things, all in a Feather format, really easy to use. And we've got Melissa's new web Bluetooth dashboard. I was so inspired by the Arduino dashboard. I'm like, this is such a good idea for debugging all your sensors. So you can see here, I got this gigantic rabbit. We gotta make this rabbit a little bit smaller, but it's moving.
This is everything that's going on this board.
With the 9DOF, I've got this light sensor. So if I put this under the light, this spikes up. I've got the accelerometer moving. I've got this little button. When I press the button here, this button clicks. So nice Bluetooth connectivity all over Web Bluetooth in Chrome for great wireless Bluetooth sensor technology.
Next up, if you want like the latest and greatest NXP based Feather, we're working on it, and we had a cool project that uses Wi-Fi to check our stonks.
Okay, take it away, Stonks.
All right, lady, what is this?
Hey, I'm checking out my stonks on this Feather Wing project I'm building. I'm actually doing this to test out the IMX RT 1011 Feather that Arturo sent us. This is a prototype of an upcoming Feather M7. It's a Cortex M7 chip running at 500 megahertz, and the best part is this chip has like tons of flash and RAM, but it's only like $1.25. It's available at DigiKey if you want to pick up some. I hooked it up to an ESP32 Airlift Featherwing to give it Wi-Fi, and then I added a nice color screen here with some buttons, and it's connected to the internet through this API and getting latest stonks and the closing price and the changeover of the day. So it's a nice little demo to read this JSON code, and the nice thing is this entire project is only about 80 lines of code. So it's like CircuitPython is so efficient and so easy to code in.
Stonks.
Stonks.
And Arturo immediately decided to try it out as well, and you can see.
Yeah, he's got one with built-in Wi-Fi, so it's
right.
a good test.
Other things, we got the little Plunbot from Japan, so we got CircuitPython running on that. Here's a preview. Okay, lady, what is this?
Hey, I'm playing with the Plenbit. This is a really cool little humanoid robot, and I got it working with the Clue. It's neat because you can actually see on the REPL all the servos moving. There we go. So this was originally designed for the microbit, but inside it's just got a PCA 9685, so I'm just controlling the servos directly. And you can take advantage of all the sensors and, of course, the built-in screen on the Clue for a little robot. So there's a little bit more to do to have it do like actions and motions, but I definitely got all the LEDs and motors responding.
Reset it again.
Will do. Okay, happy about.
Now, we showed some things that the Clue can do, but what can the Clue do? Here's some of the things the Clue can do.
Okay, well, this is me. I'm showing off the plotter. I'm writing up a guide for this. So this is a temperature and pressure plotting. So I've got this little plotter in Arduino. It's nice and fast, and I even improved it since then. You can see it does this nice scrolling effect. Here I'm testing out the humidity sensor, and I found out why it always spikes when you turn on is because my hand was behind it. My hand is, hot and humid. The light sensor in the front. This is a color sensor, so you can see it's detecting the red reflected from the orange in that pen. Proximity, which is great for detecting, again, proximity when the light level can change. And this is a demo of the pulse sensor. So because it auto ranges, if you put your hand over the color sensor, it can measure your pulse. The microphone, which can, if you clap or sing, it'll see the volume. And accelerometer, gyroscope, and of course the magnetometer. This time I'm triggering the magnetometer with a magnet.
And that's just some of the things the Clue can do.
Okay.
We also did this Morse code project today. Take it away, us.
Related, what is this?
Hey, I'm doing a little test of this Clue Morse code transmitter. Let me connect to the other Clue over here. And then I can use the two buttons to send Morse code. So let me send H and then the letter I, and that appears over there, and I can pick up this Clue, which is also on battery power, and let me send O, and then I'm going to send K. There you go. So wireless Morse code transmission between two Clue boards using Bluetooth.
And last up, here's some designs that are either going to be released tomorrow or next week, or who knows.
This is a Metro M7 IMX RT 1011. So this has that 1011 chip in the middle, the low-cost IMX RT. It's a good introductory chip. Wi-Fi, ESP32, USB-C, SWD debugging, power supply, power switch, and boot select, which is something I really need. The boot process on these chips is not trivial. So coming soon. It's an NAU 7802. People have been asking us to stock some sort of Wheatstone bridge or strain gauge amplifier. So we'll have this, and of course Python and Arduino code to go with it. And then an update, so we did the ICM 2649, which is a great 6DOF sensor. The next step up is the ICM 2948, which is a 9DOF sensor, also some built-in automatic orientation calculation capabilities. It's a magnetometer and IMU in one case. And so we're kind of slowly working our way around this chip. It's not an easy chip to use, but hopefully we'll have the Arduino code and CircuitPython code for this chip soon. Oh, and one more, I forgot. Two more.
This one?
The DS?
I got that one.
Oh yeah, I just said a lot this weekend. Yeah. The DS1841, people liked our I2C linear potentiometers. This is a log potentiometer. It's a single pot, but it's a log style, so it could be really good for some audio projects, scientific projects. And the HT10, this is a ultra low cost temperature and humidity sensors from the same people who buy the DHT22.
Back in the vault.
Back in the vault with y'all.
Vault's full.
The vault is just chock full.
Okay, we're going to start answering some questions. Go over to adafruit.it/Discord. That's where we do it. That's where we answer questions. Join all 16,000 of us. Also now in service discovery,
That's
We
right.
passed every test.
We did
We
it.
did it. We did it. We did it. We did
Yay.
it. But that's where we do these questions. Okay. So first up, the question I saw earlier was, would we ever do a live video feed in the pick and place machine? So I actually thought about this a bunch. The hard part is I'd want audio, but then I don't want, a live mic. What if the team is talking about stuff they don't want broadcast on the internet?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll do music. Well, we own all of our own music, but then, YouTube will do the automatic copyright thing if it just has any music, because the copyright filters don't work. So it's like, oh, it sounds like it sounds like a song. So even though we make our own music, so that's a potential. So what we've been doing is the manufacturing section in our show, where we can just film it when we want to. And I do want to do things where when we run a certain batch of products, maybe it'll tweet, and then maybe we can have a short clip of a video to make it pretty clear. But I don't want the team to think there's an always on microphone video on them. We don't do that to our team. So that's pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Do you two ever take vacation? Well, now's not a good time to travel. Next up, do you have any preferences among 3D printers you own? I'll say Noah and Pedro are the best ones to ask. Stop by.
Check out their videos.
Stop by 3D Hangouts every Wednesday at 11 a.m. because this is probably the most asked question.
I know. I don't want to say. I'm good at suggesting some things, but not 3D printers.
Yeah. Folks like the fast chip is new copyrighted. Well, the music that we have that we made is our own. But if someone wants to use this, let us know. I guess. Just drop me an email.
New it up.
Let's see. The other question was, can you I guess this was for the ICM.
Yeah.
Can you put it in a rocket?
There would be a good sensor for a rocket.
Okay.
Good for a rocket.
Did the ESP32S2 have NFC?
I don't think so, but I'm not 100% sure. You really check the data sheet, but I did not. One thing I noticed, which is on Bluetooth, I think they dropped the NFC. Yeah.
All right. Next up, does anyone know how to add a 12-volt power source to a coaxial cable wire for an amplifier?
Oh, you really need to look at the amplifier documentation because you don't want to blow it up. So I don't want to recommend how to do it because what if you break
it? For the pick and place cam, you meant an outside view. Yeah, it would still be the same thing, because if we're filming the pick and place machine on the outside, if we were to film the audio, transmit the audio, I'd have to, hey everybody, what if you're talking to your coworker here about something you don't want broadcast on the internet? So it could be silent. But anyways, yes.
I liked what we did, which is we just have videos every week of the manufacturing running, and it's the most fun parts.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, any plans to make a quick stemma MOSFET transistor board alternative to a relay, just power ground signal and V in out?
I haven't thought of it, but it's a good idea. Maybe I will.
Okay. Unless there's any other questions, I think we're gonna call it. Okay, yeah. Oh, someone expected to be silent, not like traffic jams. Yeah, but here's the thing though, it sounds cool. So I like the sounds of the machines.
I know.
Yeah, I know. See, challenges.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Okay.
We'll keep doing stuff. I think that's the questions for now, unless there's another one. I'm gonna go to. Does the building next door to the empty lot still have doors or windows? No, it's gone.
Yeah, I think it's all gone.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one across the street. The ones next door are all regular buildings.
Yeah, you can see that they're going to redo this entire block.
Yeah, the building next door used to be the Trump Soho. Now it's called the Warwick or something.
Yeah.
The Dominic. They scraped the Trump name off and called it the Dominic. Mm-hmm. We have footage of that. Sure. And then the one next door is just it's a regular office building.
Yeah.
And then across the street is construction. Okay.
All right, cool.
All right, let's do a giveaway.
You do a giveaway?
Yeah, what do you want to give away?
Okay, let's give away a Serpenti.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
What are the rules?
The rules are the first person to call the magic phone number when it appears and answer the 3 questions will get a Serpenti board, a great little CircuitPython friendly microcontroller dev board that we now stock. All I do is call the phone number when it appears, and when I pick up the phone and say ahoy ahoy, you have to say ahoy ahoy back or something, so I know you're there. Please respond. And I ask you your name and where you're calling from, and a project you're working on or you want to work on. And if you can answer those questions, I'm going to send you a Serpenti for free.
Okay.
No purchase required. Even Tennessee can enter.
The phone lines are open.
Open. Call this number.
Yeah, I put the phone number in some of the chats as well.
Thank
Make
you.
it easy for you in case you can't decipher the different ones. And I think I got all of them. Yeah. Yes, one winner per Lemore's lifetime.
Oh,
That's
sorry, I
correct.
forgot to say that. So I was
Yeah.
so distracted
Yeah.
with these
All right.
cables.
So-
Oh, look. Phone's ringing. It's gonna ring twice.
yeah.
Okay, let's pick it up. Ahoy, ahoy. Ahoy, ahoy.
Huzzah!
Hello. Congratulations. You've called the magical phone number. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Bob. I'm from Boise, Idaho.
Okay, Bob from Boise, Idaho. Congratulations. You have won our Serpente microcontroller board. Yay! Everyone's so happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yay! All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com and say, hey, it's Bob from Idaho and I want a product number. Well, you can pick 4513 or 4514. One of them has the plug, one of them has a socket. So pick which one you want. I would suggest the 4513. And they'll send it out to you
Okay.
immediately. What's a project you're working on or you want to work on?
I have always wanted my own shooting gallery. So I want to do one with a Nerf gun. And so I've been working on that a little bit at a time. Using
Awesome.
A lot of your products and a lot of your guys.
Yay! That sounds cool. I'd love like it's a smart shooting, especially one that automatically resets and like knows when it's been hit. Well, hopefully you can use this Serpente board in your project. Free stuff is always good. So please, Bob, don't forget to email support Adafruit to get your new product because they need your address and stuff.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you and have a wonderful night.
You too.
Bye. Okay.
Okay.
Give away a Serpente.
All right, ladies. That was our show for tonight. Thank you, everyone out there, for being part of this. Don't forget the code is wide range. That gets you 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything except for gift certificates, AdaBox, and Code Academy courses. It supports us, a 100% woman-owned, open-source electronics company in New York City. This is it. There is no other.
There's no
Thank you
other.
so much for everyone who supports the company by purchasing some stuff once in a while.
Thank you.
Special thanks to Takara, who's in the Slack chat
Oh, thanks,
behind the
Tara.
scenes. Special thanks to all the Adafruit team members, both here and remote. We'll see everybody next week. We might have some special
Wednesday.
surprises and more, so stay tuned.
Maybe a new NPI.
Who knows? So stay tuned to adafruit.com, all of the social places, Discord, and more. We'll see everybody next week. Here is your moment of Zener.
Bye, everybody.